When I'm not studying online at Arizona State University, you can find me working at Starbucks. I started this job as a freshman because it was an easy part-time flexible job that I could manage while going to school. And 3 years later, it has actually turned into a career path for me. Howard Schultz, the CEO and founder of Starbucks, has a great quote pertaining to leadership. He says, "Dream more than others think practical, expect more than others think possible, and care more than others think wise." I first saw this quote because it was actually hanging in the office of my boss, and he sees this every day, and he says that it inspires him to be a good leader and also equip his employees to become great leaders someday as well. For this interview project, I interviewed my boss, Chris Morwood. He is a recent MBA grad from Penn State University. One day he would like to work for the corporate Starbucks in Seattle, but right now he is a store manager here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. When I approached Chris to interview him for this project, he was really honored, but also taken aback that I consider him so highly as a leader. As I got to talk with him more, I realized that everything he was talking about his job and leadership, really came back to this quote from Howard Schultz about dreaming, expecting more from others, and caring about your employees. So through this video, I'd like to just dive into each of those categories a little bit more and share with you what I learned from Chris. First, dream more than others think possible. Chris said it's really important to set goals for yourself and also set small milestone goals that will get you eventually to your big goal. These will help keep you on track and also just, give you a little bit of encouragement along the way. He said it's also really important to have a 5-year plan. And in everything in life you do for your career path, you do in life, ask yourself, how does this fit into my 5-year plan? Does it help keep me on track? Or maybe does it have me alter it a little bit? I thought this was really important because right now I really have a 1-year plan. Where am I going to go after I graduate? So after the interview, I definitely sat down and started writing out goals for myself to create a 5-year plan. Chris also talked about, having a mentor and how important that is at a young age, starting your career, having someone to bounce ideas off of and accountability just to make sure that you're sticking true to your values and also sticking true to your steps to achieve your goals. So next, expectations. The quote says, "Expect more than others think possible." Chris says that you really have to have high expectations for your employees and expect a lot out of them so they can grow. You also want to equip your employees to meet all of your expectations. And he said training is such an important part of his job, is to make sure that all of his employees just feel equipped and empowered. And to do that, he tries to have a monthly training session. He says to also expect, a lot from yourself and to constantly push yourself. And this is also where your mentor comes in. Someone that has more experience than you can, help push you towards your goals. I think this also kind of fits into what the text talked about, not just being a manager, but also being a leader. And I asked Chris about this, how do you, not just fulfill your manager role and job title? How do you become a leader? And he said one of the most important things is just to be transparent with your followers, to share your life with them, and to share your mistakes so they see you as a person that is approachable and someone that they can come to for advice and to come to with any problems. He said the worst thing is that if someone sees him as just somebody sitting in an office all day long, with this corporate mentality, he wants to be seen as somebody who will, help others out when they need it. And this comes to the last category, care. Care more than others think wise. He says you really need to invest in your employees. And this is something that was a first impression with me for Chris. I, just felt like he cared about my personal life and, how I was doing and in my career. And one thing we actually have in common is running. And, just talk about that every time, we're just having a casual conversation. Just those small moments of connection are really important for your, relationship with your employees. He also talked about giving back to the community and how important that is and how to do that as, a role model. That if your employees seeing you going out and serving in the community, they're more willing, to go out with you. One of the other biggest takeaways I took from the interview with Chris is he said to disregard a 9-to-5 mentality, to not be afraid to put in that extra hard work. and just really show that you care about your job and care about the company that you're working for. Chris was actually just nominated manager of the district, which is a really big deal that, out of all the managers in our area, his boss, saw the most potential in him and just how hard that he actually works. He stepped up to dual manage 2 stores when somebody left for maternity leave. And so this just really showed that, of course he doesn't have that 9-to-5 mentality and that he's not afraid to put in the extra work to gain that experience. To close, I'd like to just talk about referent power because I think that is the power that Chris has. The text says referent power comes from trust and respect from your employees and follower. And I think Chris definitely has the respect and trust from every single one of the employees that he works for. And this trust and respect comes from experience that you have. So every day, those small experience build up, and eventually, I have seen him as just such a strong leader and someone that I aspire to be like. So in conclusion, to say that quote one more time from Howard Schultz, dream more than others think practical, expect more than others think possible, and care more than others think wise. Clearly, Starbucks represents more than just a cup of coffee, and my boss represents more than just a job title to me. I aspire to take heart to all the advice that I learned from this interview and, not just be a Starbucks manager, but be a leader to my employees and followers. Thank you.